We back, big back. This one is a all-time depressing, sad, savage classic, which is called Immortal Technique, Dance with the Devil. If you haven't heard this song, you're probably younger than 20 years old, bro. Getting my headset right quick. Immortal Technique. The beat itself sounds like hella dark, right? Like some shit happen.
I once knew a nigga whose real name was William. His primary concern was making a million, being the illest hustler that the world ever seen. He used to fuck movie stars and sniff coke in his dreams. A corrupted young mind at the age of 13. Nigga never had a father and his mom was a fiend.
That line right there just reminds me. I don't know if you've seen Candace Owen or something like that, trying to expose the industry and Tupac for being a industry plant and a fake thug and was a paid actor to be a thug. But the thing is, that video she referred to, right, when he was doing that interview where he was kind of acting like all feminine and stuff like that. Well, he grew up, I believe, just with his mom, right? So he's picking up a lot of that feminine side from his mother, right? But to eventually, I don't know if it was from a heartbreak or just rejected by so-called friends, which it basically led him to being around what he said, a bunch of criminals, prostitutes. So it was an environment that slowly molded Tupac into that thug to where it's like, man, that nice guy shit was not working, bro. You know what? Fuck the bullshit. And what helped him like explode as a thug was just he was well spoken, deep thinker that now turned all that positivity that he once upon a time used to have through his poetry, etc., just the way of his thinking, implemented that into the negative world, became the thug, became it. You don't come out the womb just like, oh, I'm a thug. So that Candace Owens BS, whatever. Anyway, same thing with this guy. By the age of 13, my boy was already cold hearted because he had no dad and his mom was a fiend. Another kid about to fall victim into his environment. So we ain't born with that dark, evil heart. It's just over time, just the way we grow up turns us into whatever it is that our environment is.
She put the pipe down, but for every year she was sober, her son's heart simultaneously grew colder. He started hanging out, selling bags in the projects, checking the young chicks looking for hit and run prospects. He was fascinated by material objects, but he understood money never bought respect. He built a reputation because he could hustle and steal, but got locked once and didn't hesitate to squeal. So criminals he chilled with didn't think he was real. You see, me and niggas like this have never been equal. I don't
My boy thought he was the biggest thug in the world, so he got caught up and right away squealed. As soon as he came back, they were not accepting him the same way. And he should have been thankful and grateful that that's all they did was not accept him back, right? That kind of should already be your sign, like, bro, all right, this shit is not for you. Your very first time getting caught up, you squealed. Get your ass up out of here. Even if you have to go suffer and struggle at McDonald's for a little bit, go chill at McDonald's for a little bit and think about your next plan. Try to better yourself, right? But at the time that this song was made, like, we don't have that type of, they didn't have that type of technology and information or mentors. All they know is just that street shit that they grew up on. Like, there's nothing else.
project my insecurities on other people. He fiended for props like addicts with pipes and needles, and so he felt he had to prove to everyone he was evil. A feeble-minded young man with infinite potential, the product of a ghetto-bred capitalistic mental. Coincidentally, dropped out of school to sell weed, dancing with the devil, smoked until his eyes would bleed. But he was sick of selling trees and gave in to his greed. Everyone trying to be trife never face the consequences. You probably only did a month for minor offenses. Ask a nigga doing life if he had another chance. But then again, there's always the wicked that knew in advance. Dance forever with the devil on a cold cell block. But that's what happens when you rape, murder, and sell rock. Devils used to be gods, angels that fell from the top. So Billy started robbing niggas, anything he could do to get his respect back in the eyes of his crew. Starting
But once he squealed, no matter how many people you rob, how many people you this, at the end of the day, you have squealed. You did it once, they're all gonna see you're gonna do it again. But it's just that feeling of they did not want to feel left out. And if all he knows is just those gang banging, drug dealing, etc., etc. If that's all he knows from his life, is like, bro, that's all I know. So I gotta get accepted back into that. Cause I don't know none of this other normal life shit. This is all I know. Which sucks, right? Like Thankfully, now we got a whole bunch of technology mentors that you can find without even meeting them in your life to try to change your life. But the thing is, you gotta be willing to. You gotta go seek, right? Once the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Fights over little shit up on the block. Stepped up to selling mothers and brothers the crack rock. Working overtime, making money for the crack spot. Hit the jackpot and wanted to move up to cocaine. Fulfilling the Scarface fantasy stuck in his brain. Tired of the block niggas treating him the same. He wanted to be major like the cutthroats and the thugs. But when he tried to step to him, niggas showed him no love. They told him any motherfucking coward can sell drugs. Any bitch nigga with a gun can bust slugs. Any nigga with a red shirt can front like a blood. Even Puffy smoked the motherfucker up in the club. But only a real thug can stab someone till they die. Standing in front of them, staring straight into their eyes. Billy realized that these men were well guarded and they wanted to test him.
At that point, like, how do you? And of course, we know how he would not walk away. Like I just mentioned, that's all he knows growing up, right? But you trying to keep moving up on that level, and they tell you, like, bro, any punk can shoot a gun. Any punk can steal and sell drugs. You gonna be a real one? You gotta stab somebody and look them straight in the eye. How is that not already your sign that, bro, I need to get up out of here? This shit cannot end well. Eventually, that bullshit is gonna catch up, right? But all he was focused on, right, as I said at the beginning of the song, is his greed. William wanting to make $1 million. It ain't always about the money. All money ain't good money.
Before business started, suggested raping a bitch to prove he was cold-hearted. So now he had a choice between going back to his life or making money with made men. Up in the sight, his dreams about cars and ice made him agree a hardcore nigga is all he ever wanted to be. And so he met him Friday night at 2:45. Everyone trying to be trife never face the consequences. You probably only did a month for minor offenses. Ask a nigga doing life if he had another chance. But then again, there's always the wicked that knew in advance. Dance forever with the devil on a cold cell block. But that's what happens when you rape, murder, and sell rock. Devils used to be God's angels that fell from the top. They drove around a project slow while it was raining, smoking blunts, drinking and joking for entertainment, until they saw a woman on the street walking alone, 3 in the morning, coming back from work on her way home. And so they quietly got out the car and followed her, walking through the projects. The darkness swallowed her. They wrapped her shirt around their head and knocked her onto the floor. This is it, kid, now you got your chance to be raw. So Billy yoked her up and grabbed the chick by the hair and dragged her into a lobby that had nobody there. She struggled hard, but they forced her to go up the stairs. They got to the roof and then held her down on the ground, screaming, "Shut the fuck up and stop moving around." The shirt covered her face, but she screamed and clawed. So Billy stomped on the bitch till he broke in her jaw. Them dirty bastards knew exactly what they were doing. They kicked her until they cracked her ribs and she stopped moving. Blood leaking through the cloth, she cried silently. And then they all proceeded to rape her violently. Billy was made to go first, but each of them took a turn, ripping her up and choking her until her throat burned. Her broken jaw mumbled for God, but they weren't concerned. When they were done and she was lying bloody, broken and bruised, one of them niggas pulled out a brand new 22. They told him that she was a witness for what she'd gone through, and if he killed her, he was guaranteed a spot in the crew. He thought about it for a minute, she was practically dead, and so he leaned over and put the gun right to her head. I'm falling and I can't turn back. I'm falling and I can't turn back. Right before he pulled the trigger and ended her life, he thought about the cocaine with the platinum and ice, and he felt strong standing along with his new brothers. Cocked the gat to her head and pulled back the shirt cover, but what he saw made him start to cringe and stutter, cause he was staring into the eyes of his own mother. She looked back at him and cried cause he had forsaken her. She cried more painfully, and when they were raping her, his whole world stopped. He couldn't even contemplate. His corruption had successfully changed his fate, and he remembered how his mom used to come home late, working hard for nothing, cause now what was he worth? He turned away from the woman that had once given him birth, and crying out to the sky cause he was lonely and scared, but only the devil responded cause God wasn't there.
That's the part that a lot of people don't get. He cried out to the sky, to God, but only the devil was there. Of course, God will always be watching, right? That doesn't always mean that he's going to be there protecting you from your own stupidity, your own free will. The free will that he gave us to do whatever the hell we want with our lives. But the more you draw away from God, and then suddenly you think it's a vending machine, like, all right, God, now I need you right now, boom, instant transmission, Goku or what? No, that's not how that works. But that very exact moment, That's the only person that was there to basically respond to him. If he heard some type of response.
And right then he knew what it was to be empty and cold, and so he jumped off the roof and died with no soul.
There you go. The only person that responded was the devil. What did the devil say? Your shit's over. Jump off the damn building. Get rid of yourself. Ultimately, that's what happened. And all this for the money. I forgot where I read this, right? Or heard this. I don't know if it was from Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins. It's not a Jim Rohn. It's not what you get in life. It's what are you becoming in the process. I think about William. His mind was getting a million regardless. Bulldozing, knocking down everybody in my way, regardless, to get this million. But think about what he just became and what he was becoming in this whole process. A murderer, drug dealer, a snitch. All this to try to get some damn money, bruh. Literally destroying his reputation, because at the end of the day, whether we go to heaven or the opposite of heaven, the last thing we're going to be judged on by Jesus Christ is what we did, who we were. And the only thing we're taking is our character. When somebody passes, you don't think, sit there thinking about like, damn, I wonder how much he had in the bank. It's like, nope. I remember that guy from being so nice, so generous, or being so damn mad all the time, so evil. Like, was never nice to nobody. That's all we get remembered for, and that's all we're taking to heaven. That's what we're ultimately going to be judged on, is our character. My opinion.
They say death takes you to a better place, but I doubt it. After that, they killed his mother and never spoke about it. And listen, cause the story that I'm telling is true. Cause I was there with Billy Jacobs and I raped his mom too. And now the devil follows me everywhere that I go. In fact, I'm sure he's standing among one of you at my shows. In every street cipher, listening to little thugs flow. He could be standing right next to you and you wouldn't know. The devil grows inside the hearts of the selfish and wicked. White, brown, yellow, and black color is not restricted.
Also, gotta be careful on who you call your group, who you call your friends, because you become one of them. You hang out with 4 basketball players, you're gonna be the 5th basketball player. You hang out with 4 soccer players, you're gonna be the 5th soccer player. You hang out with 5 ice cream lovers, you're gonna be the 6th. You hang out with 5 drug dealers, 5 killers, 5 this, you'll be the 6th one. You can't just be blind. Like, what is it? Can you imagine the blind leading the blind? Even if you're jacked up completely, but you have one eye. The one-eyed man, I heard Tyrese Gibson say, the one-eyed man leads the land of the blind. So you ain't gotta be perfect to walk the right path. We're all sinners. We're all screwed at the end of the day, right? And if it wasn't through the death of Jesus Christ, would be really, really like extra big bag screwed. So be careful what you surround yourself with. You might be thinking it's cool, yeah, I'm involved, they accept me. Up until you run into some type of stupid ass situation like this, you're so blindly being led by another blind sheep, essentially, or unfortunately, leads you to some bullshit like this.
You have a self-destructive destiny when you're inflicted, and you'll be one of God's children that fell from the top. There's no diversity because we're burning in the melting pot. So when the devil wants to dance with you, you better say never, because a dance with the devil might last you forever.
Dang. That's the end of this. So the last thing I gotta say is, I remember working a security job and meeting this gentleman named Manuel. And he started asking me about God, right? He's like, bro, but I've done like too much shit. Like, I do this, I'm part of this, I've done this in the past. Like, I feel like I kind of got to start making right decisions before I try to go to God or church. I'm like, bro, it's in the Bible. You ain't got to go no church to talk to God. Sit your ass in your room by yourself, close the door with nobody looking, nobody watching, and pray directly to the source up above. And God does not say, fix yourself first and then come to me. I ain't trying to talk to you, you're a dirty little sinner. When Jesus was walking amongst us, he literally sat with nothing but sinners. He avoided the religious Pharisees, those religious ass people that thought like, oh, look at us. We're really God's people here. You guys should act like us. Jesus was like, hell no, get up away from me. I never knew you. And he went and sat with all the sinners, the tax collector, the fighter, the cursor, the nothing but sinners. The thing is, God doesn't say, come to me when you're doing good. He says, come to me as you are. Just come to me as you are. I don't care how broken you are. And then I'll fix you. It doesn't say, come to me already fixed. Oh, wait, that's the end of the song. All right. You stay this long, I quickly want to say thank you to my 14 subscribers. Once I start hitting 1,000, when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna be doing money giveaways probably every week. My plan is after I hit 1,000 subs. So if you like, comment that you heard this part of the video, share if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, thumbs down it. That's fine too. You know, free will. You gotta choose if you like or dislike something. I'm not gonna sit here and beg for no likes. But if you genuinely did enjoy and you stayed here this long, we hit 1,000 subs. We'll be doing money giveaways every week, whether it's $10, $20, sometimes $50, $100, or maybe I just do $100 and $10, 10 different people, or 5 different people, $20, or whatever the case is. But my heart, I always like to give. So if it's whatever dollar amount I can give, I want to start giving 1,000 subs.